Which one today? Nah, it's too slow. What's up, Don? Yeah, I have to go up for midnight meetings for my coaching on weekends. So I went to sleep at 7, probably, and slept for 4.5 hours. And when you, like I talked about on the live stream, what's up, guys, by the way? Yeah, like I talked about, the science about, oh, you have to sleep like 8 hours per night. It's based on average people with average habits and piss poor ability to channel their energy. Like, can you tell me right now, I'm well rested after these 4.5 hours. And if you go looking at my Instagram, all the shit I do every fucking day, you'd be surprised. Most people would need to sleep like 15 hours after that. Because they don't control, they can't manage their inner world. Me, as soon as my thoughts go somewhere bad, I'm like, no, there's no point in that, Theo. You're gonna have to do your shit. It's not gonna help at all to think about bad shit. So I don't waste any energy on that. And if I have some issue during the day, I process it in my mind during the day. So I dreamt something. I dreamt something really inspiring. So I had a thought, an idea already when I woke up today. It was like I went straight out of the dream. I was like, this is what I was thinking about in my sleep, rather than more like processing shit that happened through the day. Because, the dreams we have, even if it's not a nightmare, a lot of dreams almost feel like a little exhausting, in a sense, because it's some shit that you're cleaning out. That's literally what's happened when you're sleeping. So if you're a healthy body, a healthy soul and mind, and you don't allow energy leaks. And when also stuff that take energy for me, like coaching someone that's difficult to coach, trying to help someone that doesn't want to help themselves, that takes a lot of energy because I help myself so much, and it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I get the secondhand experience of being them. But then I get energy from talking to my clients that love me and really want to help themselves, that already come quite far. So, for instance, yesterday I was coaching someone that I know she's a little stubborn in. Yeah, it took energy basically to coach her, even though I love her, and I had a good time with her actually, but just takes so much energy. And so I was like, afterwards. Then I talked to one of my guys. I'm not saying that it's with women in general, by the way, but with this particular one. Which is funny. She's great. I don't want this to sound bad. But then I talked to one of my guys that really, yeah, gives me more appreciation, I guess. Even if this lady is nice, she doesn't express appreciation for me. And this guy definitely does. And then I get energy from that. Energy is more than calories, guys. Like, I don't even know the science of it as well as, for instance, my good friend Opti Holm, the different energy currencies we have. But I've noticed it's like, because I'm fasted now, by the way. I'm 60 hours fasted, or almost 60 hours fasted. like 2 1/3 of a day, I guess. What time is it? Yeah, it's like too soon. Too soon. Yeah, 56 hours I am. So 2 days and 1/3. And I can get energy from people. You know, people are part of your diet. You eat what come in. So if you shit people that treat you well, you eat shit. And good people, you eat the good stuff. Greetings from Canada, Mr. Les. Guys, if you have any questions, because now I'm just ranting about what's ever's on my mind, and of course you can learn something from that, but I prefer to talk about my stuff as it relates to your stuff and not just randomly like this. But then for intro, it's good. No, and the salt water. Did you know how amazing it is to be fasted, 2 days fasted like yesterday, and go into this ocean here? I was swimming with this lady. Um, just amazing. I got so energized. I come running up from the water, do pull-ups, on one of the things. I don't even know what I'm supposed to call that. There's a thing. I don't know the purpose of it, but you can do calisthenic stuff on it. So it's amazing, guys. It's daita. That's a Greek word. I'll actually, so I don't get it wrong, look up the exact definition of it, because it's not just like, oh, the food you eat, the meat, the fish. Um, this one starts slower than yesterday. I'm surprised because it should be Sunday in the States. It should be like Sunday midday evening, and that's supposed to be like the best time to stream on YouTube, I think. But let's see, daita, Greek, daita. Da, 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 da. Come on. Yeah. Daita. Yeah. Meltoelenikja alla in vescola. Gymnasterio. That means like gym, like train, basically. But you're not supposed to say that about languages, but it's a very cool language. Let's see here. Ancient Greek meaning. Come on. Yeah, I consent to your dumb cookies. Every fucking news site these days, you have to consent to bullshit. Come on. Yeah, I consented to it. I could see that no one here has said anything on this site about data. Who's still there? Have any question for me? Like the stream if you forgot. You forgot that sometimes, and I remind you that you forgot to like the stream. Come on. Data. Birds. Okay, I don't know. I don't, but it basically, the point is that your diet should be viewed as stuff that goes into you, stuff you take in. It's not just eating the food. It's what goes into you, your social interactions, sunlight, salt water. Yeah, you understand. It's what goes into you. So it's also, so there's a balance between what you put out in the world and what you take in. Well, of course, a lot of people these days, they just take in, and even, you can get too much of the good stuff. Too much of the good stuff. So even if it's not junk, some of you guys that just listen to me and be like, oh, Theo, tell me. And you don't do anything, you don't give anything to me or anyone else, you don't pass on my knowledge, or you don't give me something back like a super chat. That you're gonna get fat. You're gonna get fat in your soul. You get spoiled, as people do when they eat a bunch of shit. Like, this is the way it's supposed to be. I'm always supposed to be eating a bunch of shit that, yeah, I am still addicted to snooze. Congratulations. Yeah, it's the same with, it's just that goods, it's not junk, but you can have an excess of food, even healthy food, you could be eating too much, right? That's actually a lot what happens to people with typical snake diet, carnivore people, keto people, like they manage to not lose weight or get fat even, eating like too much fat. So that would be good fat, animal fats and stuff. Yeah, it's the same. If you just sit here and receive stuff from me, even if it's good stuff, you can get fat spiritually because you think that that's the way. You get lazy and like, And you're difficult to lose this. You're always expecting that you should be getting stuff, instead of actually realizing, I have to put out too. If I take in, I have to put out. And preferably I put out before I take in, just not from the very start, because you had to be given life energy from your mom and dad before you were born. And then you're a baby. It's going to be, yeah, I guess you put out energy by screaming or just being like, cute. You give energy to your parents like that. But you understand? This is like it's a give and take, and it's not just you're not just talking about between people like that. Like I give you this, and you give me that. It's like you put out and you take in. You put out and you take in. But a lot of people these days they don't understand that with the smartphones. They think that this is what you're supposed to do. Just take in from the phone, never put out. It's like content creation and content consuming, right? It has to be a balance there. And the more Chad you become and you realize that, the Chad thing is not to just sit and watch other Chads do stuff. I can do that to varying degrees as I become the Chad, but the Chad thing is to create content for others. Show them how they become Chad. Talk about the stuff that makes them Chad. Just show it to you, like I am doing right now. So we see 3 people, 3 likes. What's up? You have anything else you want? Because this is just my little rant. I'm gonna run out of it. I have the opportunity to do a longer stream now again. I guess I can remind you. I yesterday I'm doing these little trolley titles like last live stream ever, because I'm gonna start having group calls with one of my coaching tier clients soon, and I'm just not gonna if people don't use them properly with good questions. Like yesterday was great. Yesterday was great actually. And Crow Lovecraft was here yesterday. What's up? You're the one that wants me to yell, right? No, but yeah. And today I like not the last live stream ever, because it's not the last. But I just want to hint at the fact that they can go away for a while at least. So you have to make it worth it, guys. Either with the super chats or either with actually asking questions that will be good for other people to hear the answers, right? That's the thing. I have a lot of good stuff to say, but it's the give and take again. It's gonna become about me if it's just me coming up with stuff, right? So let's see. Snooze. Snooze is awesome. It's spelled S-N-U-S, just FYI, both of you. Snooze. Don't put it like as if it's a snooze button on the alarm clock. Like addicted to. I am addicted, but it's like it's not a nice way of putting it to me. It's like you're trying to get me on something. And I know that because people try to do that with me all the time. Guys that follow me, that they see perfection in me. They want to find what is the flaw. Are you still addicted? And it's like, yeah, I will admit it is an addiction too, but you got to realize all these things. There's a balance. That's the way I view it as the holistic coach, with what goes in and goes out. If I take in snooze to be able to put out something more, if I can focus better to do work, then it's actually net positive. But and right now, I'd say when I've been here, especially at the start, I've been a little unbalanced with it. I've leaned a little bit on it, like an addiction is. An addiction is, it's not, when you use one of these things, not as a boost to actually be able to do something productive, but also just because you're unable to just deal with being, and you're like, I need something, So it's like coffee, I often think that it's an easier example because most people that aren't Swedes can't relate to the snooze. I'm actually gonna have one now. You don't have to do that, but especially not with that sound effect. But it's nicer if you aren't all slimy in there. And no, but the coffee is easier to relate to. You either, if you have a good sleep routine, you're mostly well rested, but something happened so you couldn't sleep well that night. You're tired. You gotta get to work. You drink coffee. Boom, the caffeine helps you work. Great. I see nothing wrong with that. And then if you lean on it all the time, I mean, I don't even see anything wrong with it. That's the point. It's in my opinion, coffee is something that's okay to have every day. It's just the amount, or not even just the amount. This is also the two, guys. There's many different variables. the window. Me, for instance, I get away with a very high caffeine consumption because I metabolize it so quickly. Like I can feel when I had too much early in the day, which I will do sometimes to just push myself to get going, like in combination with, cold shower and stuff like this, and I can feel like, oh, I almost had a bit too much. It took me a long time to pick up on, I'm in very good connection with my body, so I can tell what's going on a lot. I can think, I can feel, what is this? And like, yeah, it must be, oh yeah, it's that thing. I become, through introspection and observation, I become, I'm great at observing myself and understanding what's going on. But even when I've overdosed on caffeine, I just know that, okay, fucking stay away from it now. It doesn't take too long, 1, 2 hours, until it's like, oh, the effect I feel is gone. Then, of course, the caffeine isn't fully out of your system, but then I know in a few hours it will. And caffeine is one of those things that people metabolize at the very different speeds. Some can have a drink, they are super sensitive. I've never been that, to caffeine, never been sensitive. But some could, like, oh, I happened to have coffee at 3 in the day, 1 cup, that was only for the day, I can't sleep now. So you got to know yourself. That is, again, with the general truths. I need much less sleep, even though I train harder and that, because I conserve my energy so well, or direct my energy so well. So it's always like, if it's like one needs 8 hours, it's like, no, one kind of person. What kind of person are you? What are your needs? What are your abilities? Okay. Crowell Lovecraft. When you're doing the few days fast, are you also doing sensory deprivation? What are your thoughts on that? I just opened my eyes and ears. Was in a 2-hour sensory deprivation exercise. If I also do that, no, I've never done that. I know what you mean. Those tanks, you mean, right? And no, I love that you say it as if, like, when you fast, do you do that? As if it's like, yeah, that's part of my fasting. Absolutely. No, I mean, yeah, I could try that, but no, I haven't. I just haven't. But I can remind you, dear, like, if you haven't, but I am fasting now. I'm 56 hours fasted right now. And guys, just to show you, I'm doing that when I'm like ripped. Like, the lighting here doesn't really show that, I don't look as like dry and crisp, but I don't have much fat here. That's the skill I've developed, guys. I used to be a skinny fat, little bitch, loser kind of guy. Junk food, well, addict, I guess, but it wasn't the worst thing, but I did. Hey, Xenoplants, what's up? Any question for me? Good to see you. No, but I struggled with this. I couldn't, it was difficult when I started with all of this to stay away from the junk food and all that. And then I had to use discipline. And then the fasting was difficult as I got into it. And now, do you understand? I'm ripped and I can stay away from food for a few days, even though I don't need it or need it. What was I even gonna say? I can stay away from it even though I'm ripped. And I'm never hungry, really. I felt a little bit of hunger when I was talking to a client and he was talking about cookies and shit. That's how I notice that I'm fasting often with hunger. I don't go around being, I need to eat. But sweets and shit that I would never I never eat that shit. Yeah, I'd have a cookie at someone's birthday, maybe, but I mean, generally, as a general rule of thumb, I don't eat that shit at all. So I will know that I'm fasting by seeing something like that and imagining what it tastes like, because I don't do that. When I'm not fasted and I'm at like a party, a gathering, when I see like a tray of chips or candy and shit, I'm like, yeah, that's other people's stuff. It's like that's dog food. So I'm trying to sell you a problem I've had that I've solved for myself, that I'm fucking ripped. I have an energy expenditure of like at least 3,500 calories, and I still don't struggle with hunger at all. I can stay away from food ripped with such a high metabolism. And when I eat, it's not because when this happened to me, or when I gained this ability, I was thinking about, have I like ruined my natural hunger signals? Is this no good? Then I realized, but my appetite is great. I love food once I start eating. It's not that I've ruined my ability to eat. I just don't have to. I've made hunger. Like, do you know another way I will notice I'm hungry? I get a little like, I feel it in my head, sort of, more than like in my mouth and head. I feel like because it's like cortisol, it's kind of stress hormones, and I kind of love it. I am sort of a stress addict to some extent. So, I like being hungry, and this is how I pitch. It's a mindset thing too, guys. One of my women clients, women need much more that you hold their hand throughout the coaching. Feminine guys need that a little bit too. When they ask, I'm gonna get to the questions here later. It's great. I'm just gonna finish this point. That feminine guys, it's like when you should never ask me a question that you know. If you can think like, what would Theo say to this? Like, I know he would say this. Then it's like, yeah, shut the fuck up then. Be a man. You know what you should be doing. But women can't do that because they need the emotionals, or they need to be set straight. They need to be told that in a way. Men can learn in a better way to be like, yeah, already know when I'm gonna ask him, should I do this? Theo is going to say no, for instance. No, but so my woman client, Charlotte, I actually have a video when I'm with her in Sweden. She's an online client, but we met once. Gotta put that out, but it's not great sound. I have to make subtitles, but it's a little fun to see me just interacting with a client, I guess. A woman, especially, maybe. But she asked me, like, oh, I went up early, like you. I've taught her. She does my process a lot. Like, she doesn't go up in the middle of the night like I did now. But yeah, she told I have been cleaning my house and like da 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 da. And now I'm afraid of being hungry until this point when I'm gonna break the fast. Like, should I blah blah? Because the answer, of course, is like, what should you do? Not break the fast until you're supposed to, little stupid. But she needs to hear something. She needs to be set straight. So I'm saying like, no, you're not feeling hungry. You're experiencing weight loss. It's an amazing feeling knowing that what you're feeling right now, that means you're coming closer and closer to your goal of losing the fat. For every second that passes is amazing. The stress hormones you can use to just get productive while you can enjoy knowing that with every second that passes by, you're moving closer to your goals. That's a mindset, guys. Do you know that a guy like me, do you understand how difficult my life is? That right now I'm in sort of a state of tranquility. I'm like, you see, I have very little ego right now. But I have to build up a strong ego that's like angry at you or blah blah blah. So I build up a character, and then you have to become it for a bit, and then I will get burnt somehow, and it's like when positive energy flows through you, it's like you're not seeing the way I'm trembling on camera, but it's like it takes willpower as fuck to contain and not become this crazy person. So yeah, guys, just know that a lot of things that are easy for me, when the difficult becomes easy, the easy becomes difficult. That's the lesson there. But it's mindset. I can turn anything that people would say feels bad, I can turn it into a good. And the things that people think are good, they can feel bad for me. That's kind of the point. But nothing is good or bad. It's right in the end. You do what's right. Not what you feel is good or feel is bad. You do what is right, no matter what. And you come up with a way to frame it that way in your head. And this is what I do for clients too, but with their specific, when they are blind to, because everyone can understand what I'm saying generally here, but then they will be blind to their own things when they're like, oh no, I'm feeling like this, or I have to do this. And I'm like, yeah, you have to do this. You're feeling like this. Okay. Crow Lovecraft says, that's awesome. I'm super fat. Need to work on that. Yeah, let me tell you some motivation. It's the worst fucking thing you can be that you've done to yourself. Like, of course, accidents, someone does something to you, but this is the worst pain you can inflict upon yourself. There's nothing good about being fat. Like, unless you've dedicated yourself to some sport where you just need to be heavy and not muscle only, and that's your like higher value. That's the only time I can come up with where it would be good to be fat. Otherwise, it's like, diabetes. You're low energy, you're lethargic from all this excess energy that literally hanging you down like stones. And in the end, if you move around like a fat ass, you're gonna, get back pain or knee pain, and you look like shit to prove it. It looks terrible. It looks absolutely terrible to be fat, as the proof. Because we've been given the ability to, discern if someone is healthy or not. Then, of course, people fall away from that and get these ideas from society and marketing and all that. But just look at me now. You can see that I'm healthy. My hair looks great. My skin looks great. My voice is all relaxed and there's no tension here. My eyes and my gaze is present. My body is ripped. It looks, why it looks good is because it is good. Every attractive physical trait or the opposite, it's an expression of health or an imitation. How women put makeup on their face. They're trying to hide up their damaged skin because the skin, of course, is very much about what you eat, right? And if you sweating is great for the skin. But then it's like, it's like having a mess in your house and you putting all the clothes or something under the bed. It's like, yeah, now I solved the problem, but it's fake. It just looks nice and tidy. It isn't. And your fucking clothes, if you've used them, at some point they're gonna rot. Okay, there was some other question there. Xenoplants. How do you get bigger pecs? I want my chest to get bigger. I am pretty fit though. I am a tennis player and a soccer player. Well, it's a very low awareness question. Like bigger pecs, you train them. You train them with progressive overload. So what does the pec do? It's here. It's attached here. So it really moves the upper arm like this. An adduction, we call it, of the upper arm. And so different moves that, bench press, dumbbell presses, dips. And then for more isolation, we presses, then the triceps will assist to extend the arm. Then we have flies when we're having more like this. But really train the chest with good workouts, that I would construct for you as if you were my client, you'd like for any, let's say it like this, kind of no matter the split you're doing, you like 2 or 3 exercises for the chest in a workout, 3 sets. I mean, it's a little different. There's variability here. For instance, I'll give you a chest workout right now. That not too specific, because it can't be like this, but like 3 sets of bench press, like we're talking working sets, not warm-ups. Warm up, 3 working sets. Oh, okay, Greek technology. No, 3 sets of like 5 to 8 reps. If we're talking, you will have bigger chest, not strength only necessarily. We keep it in the 5 to 8 rep range. You have flat bench press for that. We can take a inclined dumbbell press, 8 to 12 reps, 3 sets. It's gonna hit the upper pec a bit more. And then now we've had a heavy one with a bench press, pressing a bar, the heaviest overload. We have one a little bit more freer with the dumbbells for the upper chest. We can take some sort of fly. And in this combination, I would take a high to low cable fly. So, the one when you're standing, you're coming from above and down to here. 3 sets of like 10 to 15 reps. This would be a typical chest component of a workout that I do if it was like a push workout. So applying progressive overload to that's how you get a bigger chest. You have to, and of course, you have to eat well and recover well, and this. Because it's such a simple question. We say, how do you get bigger pecs? Like the way you get everything else bigger, you train it right. But now I told you a bit, I gave you a little chest workout. And this is what I do for clients, but of course on a deeper level, construct the whole program. And of course, I don't just coach training and nutrition. I will have either the one-on-one call with a person and just fucking fix everything about them. Not fix, heal, I should say, because I don't see it as anything wrong. I see someone have pain, wounds, and we need to heal them. Or any trauma you might have, no girlfriend, weed addiction, alcohol addiction, porn addiction, this kind of shit. Or you're the second tier client, that when we talk about that on the group call, take one person at a time, but everyone listens. It's my classroom, you raise your hand, like you sort of do in the chat here. Please, more questions, guys. Please like if you haven't. I have some time because of my weird wake up routine on weekends. I can stay around for like up to 2 hours on a stream if it's going. But again, guys, I'm showing you have to give to get. We're not only talking about the super chats. We're talking about fucking just talking in the chat. It's not for me only. Do you understand? It's for the people watching. You have to help. You have to help create content for the people that can't see it live. You have to help come up with stuff. we're creating content together, guys. It's not about me. Chronolog, correct. I don't have the tags as well, but the reason I ask is because that dopamine fast is almost similar to sensory deprivation, but a bit extreme. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I just commented on how you phrased it. It wasn't like, have you ever tried a sensory deprivation tank when you fast? It's like, do you do that? As if it was something I do. You know, I am great with my words and communication. That's why I see these things that are funny. You know, I'm not saying you're overall a good communicator. You were in the chat yesterday. But I see so much because I'm such an amazing communicator, to be honest. I can put finger on so specifically what it is I want to say, but a lot of people can't. They're like, their communication is so flawed. And that's something I coach too. I could tell Charlotte, again, my client, I can tell that she speaks better since she's had the calls with me. And I make, of course, often it's more like this. When you're coaching, sometimes you need to listen to the client, but you listen to the client as little as possible because you're supposed to tell them what they need to hear. You're supposed to give them what they need after they have given you the little they've expressed their problem and stuff. But I can tell she's better at speaking. She's looked at me. She's more concise in her messaging. And if you go to my Instagram, it's insane. My rhymes. I want to. Oh, my Swedish rhymes won't. Fuck, I can't go to it on the issue with having to stream on the phone. I can't go in on my Instagram. But I'm the Greek philosopher now, guys. Right now I'm little hipster Swedish Apollo here. I'm actually, do you know Apollo, the haircut he has? It's like, it's kind of this thing going, and he has like curly hair. And I'm thinking, I'm growing my hair out kind of long. I'm gonna go and make it curly. And it's for fun to look like Apollo, but it's a fear facing too, because I think I will look ridiculous if I do that. So I'm gonna ruin my nice straight blonde hair here with curls, make it curly at some point and go around like that. It's kind of funny. Obviously, I think it's really funny, but yeah, guys. Yeah. What more do you have to say, guys? What more do you have to say? What more do you have to say to me, guys? What more do you have to say? What questions do you have? What do you want to talk about? Or are you just a little spoiled brat that expects Theo to just come up with stuff? You're just a little consumer. I'm kind of good at imitations, by the way. Do you know who this is? Sorry, that's you. That's you. Is that the way you go about life? It says a lot. If you only watch when you have the opportunity, yeah, it's you. Exactly. Exactly, Dom. Any question, that's the point. Yeah, good. Yeah, nice, yes. I've done that one on Instagram many times because, I can tell when, I go in, I watch, people watch me, but I see them. I can see who's watching the story and I go DMing it. I'm gonna connect with everyone that's following me because this is the point we were talking about selling yesterday, right? I'm gonna make people understand that I'm talking to them and just on their level, the different coaching tiers, and in the end, the people that just need to follow the content, but you have to be involved. You're never gonna get what you could get out of me if you're just like, well, stuff just happens in this place. If you heard that sound, I don't even know what that was, but yeah, because I can tell. I try to manipulate people. I manipulate because people are what they are. They are not in. They're not aware when they're just sitting and watching. And I emphasize so clearly, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you, and I still see how they just tap through some things and stuff. I will do stuff like stop there, and I have a video and it says in text like I'm really good at imitations because then the person might be like, oh, I wonder who is imitating and take the sound off, and then they see me like, do you know who this is? You. And they realize, ah, shit, he got me, and they might actually respond, and then they might start responding to other stuff. It's like a guy like me. I'm trying to wake people up. Wake people up. You see how awake and present I am. I'm not talking like so-called, right-wing extremist or left-wing extremist, that thinks they know the truth about the certain things and need to spread it and stuff. They don't know. They are not aware. They all stuck in these external ideas. They're not in them. They're not here. They're not present. That's what I'm so present in the moment. all the time, almost all the time. And I catch myself so quickly. Like my client I talked to yesterday, he was like impressed. He when I was like starting to do something, I get out of some kind of autopilot behavior immediately. But people are autopiloting through life, fucking autopiloting through life, and that never leads you anywhere you want to be. Therefore, I want to wake you up. Yeah, read some poetry for you. Yeah, Don, you guessed that it was you and you, LMAO. Is it like you, are you, is this also the thing? You're so not used to talking sometimes that even when I am on your ass like this, like, come on, ask a question, you have access to a high value coach for free here right now. And all you have to do is fucking ask the question, hello, 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 and still you can't come up with something. Like, it's like this. Before, I can't have that anymore, but previously, before I had leveled up the business, I had free consultations sometimes with people to, to just get them on and see, like, I mean, now I could call someone to like consult them, that I should, but don't schedule them, I don't book them with people, I just can't, my time is too valuable now. I do too much with other people already that do pay. But so I did that not too long ago, like a couple of months ago. I get this guy, and turns out when he's on the call that he's 18. And I'm like, okay, he's probably not going to afford the coaching, but again, it's not about the money in the end. So when I have him here, of course, I want to help him as much as possible. And I can tell this kid, they're on fucking TikTok and Snapchat, and that they have not learned to communicate one single bit. One single bit. He doesn't know. He could, in his email he wrote, he could express himself, all right. But when I had him there, it's like he doesn't know. He doesn't know what to say. So when I went on for a long time, I was like, now I'm gonna let the kid speak for a little bit. He's like, and I realized, and we talked about it, like you're on TikTok. And yeah, he had at least he was aware enough that he knew this about himself, kind of. He went off TikTok. I've never been on TikTok, but you see the videos here and there on here, YouTube or Instagram, and you understand what it does to people to always like scroll from one 7-second video to another. Don, I have no question. We could have a small talk about the book I read right now. Yeah, tell me about the book. Or, yeah, why not? What ideas are you getting from the book? What theoretical philosophy are you getting from the book that you're gonna express in practical philosophy later on? Crowell Lovecraft. I was always an athlete. Now I just can't find the motivation. Find the motivation, to be honest. You're quite accurate when you talk about autopilot, but find the motivation. Yeah, it's like if you're looking for motivation, guess what? You're not gonna find it. Motivation is created by doing the thing when you don't feel motivated. And then when you start doing it, you gain momentum and it's like, yeah, fuck, yeah, I'm doing it now. Now it feels better. This is what I do every day, guys. I wake up, and today I was insane in how fast I could do everything, because I try to remove the space between thought and action as much as possible. That's how I optimize my days. That's how I get so much done. I interact with, on some level, hundreds of people at least every day, and people get surprised, because I put out so much on my Instagram every day, and I share my entire day. Still, I'm always, when someone DMs me, I'm like, zoom, zoom, zoom. It's like when my aunt liked my profile picture on Facebook, because I've tried to trigger people that I know in my personal life. I used to know, rather. I have people that I still know there too. I have to trigger them to get in on this. But then my aunt was the first one to like a picture I uploaded. I was heading to the beach, and I just take up the phone and call her. So like within 10 seconds of my aunt liking my picture, I'm like, oh, okay, let's call her actually. So that's what you got to do. You don't got to let the space for waiting for some kind of feeling. The feeling never comes when you wait for it. Sometimes when you get to know yourself properly, you can know that this thing, I will feel differently. You can predict your emotional state. Like me, for instance, certain things I wouldn't want to do at this time of the day, because I know I'm going to have higher energy. Like I have high energy right now, but my body is not quite ready to be, Like in that video when I'm screaming aggressively, that would be a little difficult right now. It would be a little forced. So say that I feel like I should do a video like that. Well, I would wait until I've done my workout, because then I'm gonna be pumped, in a less forced way. It's naturally gonna flow. But a lot of people, they don't know this. They don't know how that they can take control of their emotional state. And so they sit and wait for some kind of feeling. No, no, no. You create the feeling with your actions. So today, the cold shower, for instance, I'm trying to. I always have a little anticipation anxiety, or like I put on the cold water, I stand there for a bit, and now I'm pushing myself to just put it on, just wait for the few seconds I know it takes for it to get cold, and then immediately going. That's what I want to teach you guys. Do you understand how much you can do with your day when you don't end up procrastinating all the time? Just being like, maybe I'll do this, I'll do it in a bit. No, I don't feel motivated. That's not how it works. Men, they don't have to feel motivated. They make themselves feel motivated with their actions. Yes. Done. I have problems with getting rid of porn like you have with your snooze. No, fuck you, man. Stop relating to me with this. I could get rid of the snooze if I really wanted to. Do you understand? Because we're talking, you know, I have like an addiction. I have a feeling that I want to do it, and it could be better to do it a bit less. But I'm choosing not to quit it. Do you understand? I literally am. I acknowledge that, yeah, I have a certain dependency on it, that it's not only a choice, but I'm choosing not to take that battle because I take so many other battles in my life. You see, there's a balance. No one is perfect. No one is God. We're always going to have our little leaks. It's about minimizing them. So stop doing that. Because porn is also, there's no man should do the porn at all. That's much worse. Much, 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 much worse than snooze ever is. The snooze can actually, in the right dose, it can bring me something positive. The porn literally never does. The only time I can come up with something that will make sense that porn is okay is when you are in a committed relationship and you are sometimes away from each other. Well, if your girl would give you like nudes or something, and you handle your business that way, then it's like an extension of your sex you're having with your girl. That I wouldn't mind at all. But just watching porn, it's nothing but bad for you. So stop trying to get me on the snooze to make yourself feel better, because that's what you're doing. This is my coaching right now. Yeah, yeah, your brain is lying to you about the porn. I'm being honest about myself with this. Um, da, 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 da. So let's see, like you have with your snooze. And the book is basically a guide to get oops, my stative, my tripod. I think I left it at the beach, so I made one. It's magnesium biglycinate is what it leads on. Mm, mm, mm. That's what it's more about brainwashing from society and self-deception. That's literally how my brain talks with me about porn. I know that porn is way worse. Yeah, yeah, it is. But so it's just that it's like, why do you feel like you have to remind me about the snoozes here? That's why I'm trying to show you, because so many guys that follow me, they see how perfect I am, because I am great at a lot of stuff. I'm your leader here. It's you that come and look at me. You're learning from me here, not the other way around. And so many guys want to get you on something. When you come to that level, they want to make them, instead of being like, I should be more like Theo, they have to find something wrong with me. And that's what you're doing there. It's one thing, you asked it once, and I got this feeling already from you, and that you would bring it up twice. That says it all. Because there's no reason for you, when you say I have a porn addiction, to say just like you have with the snooze. It's like that you have to try to get me all the time. I'm here to help you. Never mind about me. I'm doing pretty great without your input, right? So this is all coaching. I'm not upset with you. I just have to trigger you, push you with this so that you understand. Okay, Crowell. I will actually take to heart for a change, Theo, and I'm going to try create the feeling. If to be honest, I made the same decision about weed as well in terms of snooze. Are you guys gonna try to trigger me about this now? It's not gonna work if I see through it like that. You have to be sneaky. You have to be better to actually trigger me. Yeah, yeah, weed. To be honest, weed was one of my. I haven't talked as much about it on the channel because I was in, fear, I guess. Not fear, because I've actually been wanting to talk about my experiences with weed. I guess because it's illegal in Sweden. It's illegal here too, but I know they're much more halara, the police are more corrupt also. But you know how it's like how it is with some things in many countries that it's not legal, but it's not decriminalized, but it's just that no one really takes action towards you if you do it. But I guess I was a little scared of talking about it. I started doing this thing in an alternative universe, Theo, blah blah, to get around it, to not say that I actually did it, just for the legal fact. Not that I know that the police wouldn't come to me just because I say it, but it's an image thing. Certain, people with a lower level of awareness would be, oh, he's breaking the law, which is not the point with a thing like that, right? But the weed, it's a tough one. Weed is one of the sneakiest things ever. Um, let's see if you said anything more. I just made the same decisions. Oh, Carmen, it's a good start. I will never allow my kids to watch TV. Thank you for that. That's the right way. You have to, of course, the kid you pour more into than they put out, because they are new people. They're clean slates. They have their DNA from you, but apart from those properties, they are clean slates. Do you want to feed them a bunch of bullshit only from TVs, or like just teach them that that's how life works? You just sit like, because that's what a lot of people that just they hear me say talk, 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 speak, 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 and don't understand. It's because they've been taught by the screen that no, this is how it works. you know um, but on the weed, I'll give my take on weed, why I think it's terrible. Actually, it's, again, if you can find the balance with weed, it can be positive too. The way I view it is, it can help you sleep, but it's only good if you do it as an occasional thing, like not more than 1 or 2 nights per night maximum. I don't think anyone can have a positive effect from it, because then you can catch up on sleep. If you're like a little too stressed and you sleep a little too little, the weed will help you kind of just pass out a bit more, which will help you recover physically better if you're behind on that recovery. But if you get the dependency on it, not only will it not help you go to sleep as much, you will start waking up when the weed wears off. Your sleep quality will go to shit. And the other thing about weed, what's so sneaky about it, is that it doesn't necessarily make you worse than you are right now. It just prevents you from getting better. It keeps you in the same place. I would like one of my friends that are becoming less and less of a friend. I love the guy, but because I am accelerating away from you, this is when you know this, guys. I'm warning you. You're kind of young. If you go on a similar journey as mine, you're gonna outgrow certain people. You're gonna tell they just do shit. They just have a bad influence on me, and they drag me down. The weed. The sneaky thing about weed, that people think it's just a plant. No, it's herb. It doesn't really do. It's not dangerous. It's just a plant. Yeah, that's the thing. It keeps you mediocre. It doesn't necessarily. You don't become like a heroin addict that you go sucking dick to get your fix or something. But you because you can do a lot of the things you normally do when you smoke weed, you think, ah, it's okay, but it isn't. Weed prevents you from growing, and that's the sneaky part. It's not too much of a negative effect. It's just no, it keeps any positive development from happening. So that's my take on weed. If you want to know little tricks how to quit it, I have quit it. I did this. I used it less and less and less, and it was kind of this kind of thing for me. And now I finally, in Sweden, I've left it behind once and for all. It's not like I did it zero before I went away. To be honest, guys, it's just that it's something, again, I've been strategic about, in a sense. Maybe I see now that it was fear that I could have just let go. Wouldn't have mattered. The people that would think, oh, it's illegal, maybe this channel is not even for them in the end, still. But now, that's a good thing. Changing environment helps a lot with ridding yourself of addictions, because you're going someplace. You know, it's difficult when if you have your routine at home. Say that you always smoke in the evening when you come home from work, then that's your pattern. So when you come home from work, you're like, it feels weird not to do it. You want to do it. That's a routine. But when you go somewhere new and you have to create a new routine, now everything is just. So I haven't even thought about it at all. Like I've literally just thought about it, but I haven't thought about wanting to do it at all. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, Carmen Rodriguez. Always love saying your name. Um, Carmen Rodriguez. I notice many of my younger cousins that are glued to the phones don't have good communication skills in the real world. It would suck for their anxiety to get really bad and end up on medications that they don't need. Yeah, yeah, I mean, the overwhelming majority that take some kind of medicine don't need it. It's again, I'm not this guy that's I love the so-called natural option, but it's the balance. You know, we as humans we find stuff in the world and we build stuff and we come up with great things like technology and that. And then there's a balance both with how you use it, again with your phone. Are you just on it to consume or do you actually create to or communicate, of course? But then there's also things like pills. Like, yeah, certainly we can come up with a substance that this one, it doesn't really hurt your body that much, you know, and it actually does something good. Well, great, you can take that. But even with a thing like that, you could take too much and that. But permanently putting people on stuff, that's never this. It can be an intervention. A lot of stuff that could be harmful for you in the long term, it could be a good intervention, you know, like someone that fucking completely unable to get out of their depression or something, they just don't manage to, they go on an ssri, this thing again, they go on a ssri, find a baseline where they're like, when they gain some momentum in the rest of their life when they're not all depressed all the time, and then they can go off it. You see, there's always a balance with this. But like you're saying, Carmen, it's terrible with like shit. Oh, there's something we've made your kid have no attention span at all by just letting it sit on the phone or play video games and shit all the time. So instead of taking that away, we give them fucking stimulants. So they sit like hopped up, like forced to focus on stuff. No, no good. Um, that's not good, Carmen. It's a good start. You notice I never allow my kids to watch TV. Oh, Crowell, so you're a little older. Okay. Um, because I couldn't tell your age really. Because you were talking about being in the military and you said you needed me to yell at you or something, and that just gave me the, you know, a guy like that gives me the feeling of most of my clients, not all. I have guys that are older than me, and I have women, but like the typical client for me is a guy that's like 3, 4, 5 years older, younger than me. I mean, and of course, I mean the thing is age maturity and development as a man. It's not only about age. So it's good if you. It's actually it's a sign of modesty and self-awareness and low ego if you can see a man that's younger than you as your either equal or leader. You know, because guys struggle with that a lot. You know, like when I talk as I am the alpha with certain people, like a client or someone I talk on Instagram or something, and maybe I'll be 30 in 2 weeks, and maybe this guy's 36. It can be a little difficult for him to deal with, like, but I'm the big one here. It's like, no, bro, I'm the coach. You know very well deep down that I'm the big one, really. It's same thing goes for me, by the way. I have yet to meet actually. I think someone that's like personally at least someone that's younger than me that I actually consider, but I would be open to it. I met young guys that are surprisingly mature for their age, but just like one guy that was working sometimes in the gym I was working in back in Sweden. Yeah, I quit pretty much exactly 1 year ago now. One guy, super mature, super insightful for being like 19 years old. Mm. My soul is young, he says. Yeah. That's the thing about me. I told you on the stream yesterday, someone gave me, I'm 101 years old. My soul is 101 years old. And to be honest, I feel like that sometimes. And you know, let me tell you, actually, before I go back to the chat, let me tell you that something that's really confusing for me about that I have certain wisdoms about just life and our existence that is really a lot of even old people don't have. but that can make me feel like I know more than I do about certain other things. It's like I know that I'm very old in the spiritual world, and but I'm very young in the physical world. My body is young, and my mind is probably pretty much like I don't know. But do you see? When because I understand our existence on a deep level, I have a very deep connection to God, that can make you feel like that's the entire thing. But no, we are in the physical world. Was it actually that happened? I lean on that. But so I've come to notice that's been my ego check, that just because I feel like a wise old man sometimes, it's like, absolutely, you are that on the spiritual plane, but don't be blind to that. Some people, they know a lot more than you about some other things, right? Like with my coach, actually, he is literally 10 years older than me, and he definitely knows most things better than me. But even with him, I get a sense that there's one thing here I feel like he's not quite seeing. But it's kind of via that I learned too that don't focus on that though, because he knows all the fucking other shit better than you. And that's kind of why I called you out, Don, when you have to remind me even twice. And you, Crow, said, I think he's calling you out to you. No man is perfect. But it's like, but I don't need to be called out on that by you. To me, it's kind of like, oh, Theo, you have blue eyes, just so you know. It's like, I know, I'm here to call you out, not the other way around. What you should call me out on is if I go against, if I'm a hypocrite sometimes. Because I'm not a hypocrite with a snooze. I'm not pretending as if, I'm very aware of how things are. But if you see me being a hypocrite, that's the only time I want you to call me out, because then I have a chance to get better. Then if you're right, I get a little ego strike. I'm actually gonna feel emotionally upset, which I didn't here. That's just turning it up for a rant for you. But if I feel a sting from something you say about me being a hypocrite, then I get a chance to either be like, no, that's not, but I'm good at spotting myself. So I would probably be like, I feel, because I'm so used to being the guy that's always in the right here, but I'm gonna feel like, and then I'm gonna say, thank you for calling me out, thank you for giving me the chance to get better, because that's what I'm doing for you in the overwhelming majority of the cases, right? Mm. Okay. uh, Don't Crowell said earlier, don't worry, my man. Legalities for the peasants anyway. Maybe that's part of my problem. You're right. Oh, that was something else. Too content. Yeah. Comfort is the killer of progress. You feel content, and but you're missing out because you're not seeing how much more you could have. Um, but let's. It makes you content with doing. Yeah, exactly. With JMax says it makes you content with doing absolutely nothing with your life. Please like if you haven't. Consider the super chat. Keep the questions coming. Um, let's see. What you said something else. Okay, go to the next one. Don't harm the body are really sneaky. Exactly. Things that they don't necessarily cause harm. They just blind you or keep you, just stop you kind of, instead of not push you down, but just you can't get further with it. Crowell. So, Theo, would you recommend for a man the path of most resistance or least resistance? You talked about how challenges are good, even intentional ones. Like this, I'm just gonna say that what I'm gonna answer it, and it's not a bad question, but in the way you phrase it, it's kind of what I'm gonna say. Or do you think I'm gonna? No, no, no. You take the path of least resistance. Whenever you feel like smoking weed, you just do it. Whenever you don't feel like going to the gym, you just don't. It's like when you feel like breaking the fast, yeah, you do. What do you think I'm gonna say, man? You get hard as a man, like I am. You get hard by doing hard things. You get soft by doing soft things. Life is poetic like this. I'm becoming a Greek philosopher in a sense, Like I've understood the philosophy. It's when the truth, there's a pattern. Hard, the word hard, you become hard by trading. Your body becomes hard, and you do the hard thing. You cut fat, so you're even harder. There's no softness outside of it. But if you do the soft thing, you just here. You don't lift weights. You don't get muscle. You even lose muscle. You put on fat. Now you're soft, and you're soft on the inside and on the outside. It's everything is connected, guys. So of course I recommend the path of most resistance. What I would say is sometimes, if we're gonna give some kind of nuance to it, like when you, like me, do work, you might, to have to be able to do more of something that's hard, you might do a soft choice in another area. It's just that most people don't even need to hear what I'm saying right now, because they're making excuses to make the soft choice all the times. Oh no, but I'm so tired now. It's like, it's with setting up a business, when you're like a one-man show like me. Like for instance, I recently paid for some advertisement that might help bring up the YouTube channel and Instagram following a bit more, because I could do what they're doing, at least part of what they're doing. I had the skill to do on my own, but since I want to focus on the creative part, creating the content, and not like pushing it with algorithm shit and that, I pay. It's less resistance, to get it done. So you see, as a general rule of thumb, a man should always push himself. To think of do this thing. Do I need to do it? Yes. Do I feel like doing it? No. Perfect. Let's do it. But then, when you are someone that does a lot of hard things, you're gonna see it's a kind of optimization thing where you can't do everything. We're not God again. So where do you choose to loosen up the resistance so that the place where there is resistance, you can make it happen. But then the final point that I tie it all together is, when you enter a flow state, like I do a lot, hard things and easy things feel almost the same. Like, it's insane the way I feel training some days here. Like I can go to failure and beyond, and it's not hard. It's like, it just happens. It just happens. I barely feel it in the muscles in like a painful sense. It's not always like that, never always like that, but more often like that. So, and that's again the thing. I said it early in this stream. The better you become, the difficult becomes easier, and the easy becomes more difficult. And the other part is harder to explain. But having such high positive energy within you, sometimes it's exhausting, you guys. Feeling so strongly about all the people around you, you love them so much, and you see them suffering, that's also difficult. So, yeah, that's what I tie it all together in the end. Because, being nice to someone you like should be easy, right? But if you love them so much and you see so much they could be doing that you could do for them, but they don't let you, then your love for them becomes like a pain, in a sense, right? So, yeah, it's a heavy burden sometimes, guys. And I'm opening up to you now. I don't want to put myself on a pedestal. It's just a fact. Yesterday, for instance, when I saw Constantina, the lady that I rent here, that I'll probably end up coaching in exchange for her letting me stay here for free, at least. Which is a better price for her, by the way. But of course, because that makes sense. She's been super nice. She's bringing anything that I feel is missing in the apartment. She just comes right over with her car from Athens, which is like almost an hour. But yeah, seeing her pain, I was feeling great when we were hanging out, but then thinking about her pain and that, it was difficult. It is a heavy burden. Someone said it. I don't remember who told me. Someone commented on my video that said, "I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry." Someone commented on that when you love yourself so much, you have so many abilities, you have so much to give people, and you consistently see them fail or not do it or even hate you for it. It is a heavy burden. But that's the thing, with Atlas carrying the world on his shoulders, it's just that I'm not saying that I'm the only one. There are many Atlases. It has to be done, because specifically because no one can do it, almost no one can do it, even if it's difficult. You have the man always had to be bigger. That's the thing with being the Chad, always being the bigger person, letting people hate him while he loves them, do the right thing for them, him giving everything to them while he gets nothing back. That is the way of the Chad. That's just the way life is. And it's on the lower level, it's just that going to the gym when you don't feel like it and stuff. But all that, for me, staying on point with my diet, fasting. Again, I'm 56 hours plus fasted right now and ripped. fasting, eating, training, cold showering, none of these things, they're almost never difficult for me. Almost never. So the difficult thing becomes the easy thing. The love you have for people and stuff. Uh, and that they don't give it back at all or even hate you. That becomes the difficult thing for the Chad. You know, about fitting in society. Losers fit in with all other losers that we're gonna party together, smoke weed together, just do shit like that together. Then you start growing, you do less of that. You maybe you don't remove it completely, but you don't want to go out and get wasted, for instance. And then you notice that, fuck, my friends that still want to do that, I'm just not part of this group. This is not for me anymore. And the better and better you become, the smaller the group you fit in with is. I think I talked about it on the stream yesterday. I talk so much. I create all day. Literally, even literally, that was too late to stay. I've created all day, even before the day started. I went up before midnight. But yeah, I had some pretty intense betrayals from some men that are way more Chad than anyone else in the chat right now. They were unable to deliver to me in the end and abandoned me again. And people can always come back. You should see it as, burning bridges. See, you should never burn a bridge. That what Chad never does. Someone can have made something so terrible that I'm walking over the bridge now, away from you, but let the bridge be there. People can come on the bridge again, but then you have to let them come to you. And that's the thing with the Chad. He wants to set things straight. Please, change your ways. Come back to me. We were such great friends. What happened? But he can't. People have to change themselves, unfortunately. Yeah. So my soul is young, Crowell says. My mind is ancient, and I connect to the old hermit, and my body is young as well. Hmm. You said so. You view it that way. Hmm. I'm just thinking, do I think it's my mind that's old or my soul when you say that? No, but I feel like it's my soul because I was like born with a certain wisdom. I had a lot of common sense. I remember as a kid, it's so cool. I had my intuition that was common sense. It's like I was uncommon sense. It's uncommon sense these days, right? But I was like born with it. I remember knowing I could trust my intuition, and then as I got traumatized by life and my parents, I fell away from that, and then I regained it. So no, I was still thinking about it. My mind is probably quite old too. It's like, but I have a lot of. I guess we're also intellectualizing it a bit because, of course, the age of the spirit. It's not like my spirit has existed for a certain amount of years. That's not we. It's like the maturity or something. Because I talked about it. I think I talked about it in a YouTube video, the most recent one, but also on Instagram that the highest version of you is 50% inner parent and 50% inner child. You're serious, you're disciplined, you do things that needs to be done like a parent needs to do, but you also can enjoy life and express joy and spread joy to others like a child. That's the ultimate version of you. And that's what I have. I can be very childish, like enjoying life, dancing to video game music and stuff. But it is a jacked and tan Chad that does it. I think it was a misunderstanding, Don says. No, it wasn't, bro. You're still having your shield up for this. You're still, you wanted to compare yourself to me and be like, you, look, see, I have an addiction just like you have, Theo. You have to repeat yourself. And now you don't like being called out about it, so you say it's a misunderstanding. No, it's an understanding. It's me understanding you. That's what's going on. Crowell. I'm here to learn, not to teach, to be honest. Yeah, 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 exactly, Crowell. And the best student is the one that knows he's a student. Like Don doesn't want to admit 100% here, at least, because it's a degree of that too. Because that's when my clients now, all my clients I have now, it's always when you take on new people, new clients, even if you like them as a person and stuff, they are always more work because they might not have understood yet that, okay, I'm only here to learn. Even if I can see some flaw in Theo, it's not even any point of pointing it out because I am in the end here to learn. And then they don't block themselves from learning, because they, even when they don't quite understand, they're always open to, maybe Theo knows something I don't, you know. And also, that's when I get the chance to actually learn from my student, because if they are the perfect student, it's going to show if I'm not the perfect coach. Because if I do something and they do what I say and it doesn't work, or my way of saying it to them clearly doesn't work, you know, then I get the chance to look at myself like, oh, maybe my communication wasn't great there, or maybe my idea for it wasn't great, I'll actually change. But if the student doesn't do as I say and doesn't want to follow my lead and listen, then it's like, yeah, nothing is going to work for you, right? And that's actually because of one of my clients, with one of my routines I have with fasting, like a weekly fast routine. I've done it with several people, and sometimes it hasn't gone as well as I expect, because guys like me, we create systems that work, that we know they work if you just follow them. That's why I have kept growing for these years. I created a system that worked. At first was pretty much just eat all right and go train a bit, and then you add stuff on. And you know that you're process oriented, and just know that inevitably what you do will lead to a certain outcome. And so sometimes, like, I've doubted myself a bit, like, does my system not work? Like, because they say they're doing these things, but the weight has stalled, the weight loss has stalled. But then some clients that actually do it right and get great results. I'm going to show you within a few months. I'm actually going to show you, not just talk about it. I'm going to show you some, because some guys are really, really getting close to it. It's just that I don't want to show a mediocre transformation. I've never, just like myself, because my transformation I've shown has never been mediocre. Yes, I've been less fit, but in the time span, it's always been impressive, right? But so we're gonna get to that. But so some clients that nail my routines, they have revealed to me that, that's right. Some of my clients fucking lie to me. They pretend as if they don't tell me I did the fast. They don't tell me they ate a bunch of fucking cookies on top of the food. They just log the food, and because they have shame. And again, then they're not the perfect student. They block themselves from gaining the progress, and they block me. They actually make me insecure when they fucking lie to me and say they do my plan, and the plan doesn't work. So that's what I learned now. I'm gonna question people a lot harder. Like, did you really do it? Did you really do this? Do you really train as hard as you say you do? Did you really only eat? You ate nothing else? Gonna have to call them out. But yeah, Kroll, you're a good student. That's what I'm saying. Um, and you went on. I will tell you this. I googled your channel's name, and I have no other social media than how I found you a couple of months ago. Before I saw it, was always watching. It's freaky how you can read my mind, though. Yeah, thanks, bro. I appreciate the feedback like that, because I can't literally, it's again like I have a system, or I see patterns. Like, you're expressing this right now. That should say this about you, you know. So it's always good that you validate me like that and don't have a shield up, like, done, triggered. Um, mm, mm, mm. You can say maybe it's the algorithm. I found your name from divine inspiration. Part of me starts to think this is true. We're all connected at some level. Yeah, man, I see it more clearly and clearly. When I was talking to Constantina yesterday, and she taught me some lessons too about my parents, that I feel so strongly about it that I almost cry in the moment. It's just that I don't get, a man, a Chad, crying. That's the balance with everything. A man that can't cry, he's too much like the bitter old man, like, had become hard. No, you should be able to feel emotions strongly. It's just that a man shouldn't allow them to control him. So when she reminds me of certain things about my parents, that you can't change them, all you can do is love them, and it's like, like that, and certain things, and it's like the Greek names, my name. I have a Greek name, and I just ended up in Greek, just like you, and just ended up here, And did I talk about this yesterday? Theodoros, it's a gift from God. So again, I'm not God, but it's like I'm supposed to be a gift to people, And I remembered when I saw the sunset here one of the first times. I just got this flash from the first. I had realized before that, yeah, shit, Greece was actually the first other country I visited as a child, and I remember having a great time. And I got another image when we were sitting in this restaurant, and I saw the sunset, and like, wow, I've never seen anything like that. So, yep, we are all connected. We are all connected. Sometimes that makes me feel like the thing with the ego, because it makes you feel, since you're just experiencing, you're literally just having your experience from the inside here. Sometimes it makes me feel like it's a fucking video game and I'm supposed to figure it out via the other people. Like, well, am I in a simulation? Is that what's going on? And we are in a sense, right? Because the soul is not in this world. The soul is in this world, not of this world. And this is what I mean that I have such deep connection to. If I sit and look at my eyes like this for long enough, I see the observer. I see the observer, or I can tell that I am the observer looking at not only my flesh, but the thoughts in here. And it's a freaky feeling. You almost feel crazy. So I almost, when I feel that too strongly, I almost have to like, okay, let's go away so that this insight doesn't freak my flesh and mind out, you know. But I did it actually after yesterday's stream. I went on and looked in the mirror here, and I saw it. And when I just felt like almost my camera almost panned out from my body, I'm like, wow, wow, let's get to something else, you know. It's about knowing yourself and how to deal with yourself. Don, where do I have the shield up, lol? This is about admitting that you try to look for errors in me in order to elevate yourself. You try to come closer to me by pushing me down, by reminding me of my addiction instead of taking responsibility for the fact that you're behind me in every area of life, except, okay, maybe you don't literally use snooze, but you know, that's the way you should be viewing it here. I'm looking at a man that is here to teach me, and I should do more like him, not find the shit that he also does. You know, that's not your job. I am the one that find the shit I do wrong and try to correct it. That's what I do all the time. You know, winners, I don't brag about my, you know, I have to talk about it to make the point for you guys. Oh, I'm super consistent with training. I can fast easily. Oh, I'm disciplined. I do the thing. I don't want la la la. I have to talk about that to make you understand. But what I am really thinking in my conversation with myself is, what did you not do, Theo? What could you have done better today? You know, so that's not your job. I didn't try to teach you. You just wonder why you still no, no, no. You said it twice, bro. Admit that this is your shield. You're fucking not admitting. You can't maybe see what I'm seeing about you right now, but I know it's true because I've done all these things myself. I've coached a lot of other people that do this shit and later on find it in them to admit it. So now I'm getting like not angry with you, but I'm like, bro, now I'm done with this. I'm not gonna talk to you about it anymore. This is the case. Take it or leave it. You know, use it to become better or ignore it to not become better. But maybe you can't get it right now, but let it sink in. Yeah, deal, bro. Bro, there you go. That's a mature thing you did now. Great, great job. Like I honestly mean that too. That's great. It's difficult. I know it's difficult to be called out. Most people can't handle it at all. I mean, I have to call myself out and I have to be called out too. It's just not by you guys in the chat here, right? If I'm not a hypocrite, if you get it right, you could. But you know, you see what I'm saying. Oh, great job ending up there so soon. Okay. JMac. That's why the healthy path is lonely at times. It seems like the majority of people eat junk and drink, use drugs. It's just annoying to be with those people sober. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Some people that are self-aware that, you know, yeah, I like to drink a little bit, you know, but they don't really get drunk. They just know that they can't be without it in the same way that I can, for instance. But they don't. They have the self-awareness, and they also don't get completely wasted. Then I don't mind being around them because it's the people that can't deal with the fact that you're not doing it as well. Like my uncle, I used to get drunk with him a lot. We have very similar behaviors and copes with life like that. And so when I grow away from that, and he always tries to push this shit because he can't accept. Theo literally, it's not that Theo is so addicted to his training progress that he feels like, no, I really want to drink. I really want to drink, but I can't because of this, you know. No, it's literally fucking uncle that no, I don't want to anymore. It's hard for them to understand. And then a little part of them hates you, resents you for it. I know my uncle, he loves me. I want to say that. He was the first one that told me that your parents are not treating you right. He was the first one from the outside to say that. I'll never forget that. I get emotional thinking about it because it was so important to me as a child to hear that. That's why it's also, this is the difficult part, guys. I see how he is hurting now. Yeah, that's the difficult part. So you see, the child feels emotions strongly, but he doesn't allow them to control him. He lets them come and he just lets them be there. Okay, that's it. There's nothing more in the chat. Maybe that's kind of a cool place to end the stream on, actually. Thank you guys for this time. I'm good. I'm good. I just think it is kind of cool that I got a little emotional and end the stream like this. So appreciate you guys. We will see. Now, no live streams in the week. Have a good day, you too, Don. But I'm probably going to do it next weekend too, because I'm going to have this thing where I have to go up in the middle of the night. So might as well, right? But remember, you should send the super chat. If you wanted to keep going more often, at a point they will disappear. See you later, guys. Peace.